So if you're still looking to buy a bit of quality, you don't have to buy it. You can have it for free. You have to pay their wages, of course.
Yeah.
Because there are still free agents out there. There are a number of free agents, good players that your club could still snap
Of
up.
differing ages as well, which I find interesting, isn't it? Because that's obviously changes the length of contract as well. So
yes. So joining us now, as he did throughout the window, Kwaku Afari, football correspondent, transfer expert here on H&J. Hi, Kwaku.
hello, Kwaku.
Good, thank you. How are you guys getting on?
Yeah, very good.
Thanks. Yeah, seeing Adrien Rabiot there at among the players on the list was quite an interesting one. There are some good players still left on the free agents list. As I look, Anthony Martial, as far as I know, is still available. Memphis is, as he hasn't been snapped up yet. Joel Matip is another player. So obviously, I don't know if it puts these guys in the box seat or not, Kwaku.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I think there's going to start to be the development of a mini window between when the transfer window closes and then when the final squad submissions are for the Premier League, which this year is the 14th of September. We're seeing a lot of players running down their contracts. If you look at Liverpool's three key men in Mo Salah, Trent Alexander-Arnold and Virgil van Dijk, they're all heading into the last year of their contract. Obviously, Kylian Mbappe went to Real Madrid, the most famous free agent of all time, possibly. That wasn't necessarily a free deal, though. There were so many fees involved. But there is a window between now and the 14th of September where a lot of clubs, if they're short in a few areas, can look at free agents. And you mentioned it there, Paul. We've got Adrien Rabiot, who perpetually has been linked with Manchester United over the last couple of years, recently left Juventus. Is a very, very good player, started for France at the Euros. And if any team needs a centre midfielder that can do a lot, can move box to box and is technically gifted, then you could find a lot worse than Adrien Rabiot. You also mentioned Anthony Martial. Seems like a lot of these players on this list have either been linked to Manchester United or used to play for Manchester United. But Martial is a far cry from the player that had the Ballon d'Or clause in his contract when he signed for Manchester United in 2015. But a player who can put the ball in the back of the net has failed to really find a home over the last couple of years. So if there's a team who's short of a striker, then Martial is definitely someone who can lead the line for a decent enough side.
Choupo-Moting is now a free agent as well. And I know he's not getting any younger. He's about sort of 35. But still, if you just wanted someone...
Yeah.
He scored goals at a lot of different clubs at the top level, hasn't he?
At various levels, whether it's Stoke or it's Bayern Munich, you can rely on Choupo-Moting to score a goal. Last club was Bayern Munich. Was let go, obviously left on the free transfer this summer, and he's looking for a club. He is 35 years old though now, Choupo-Moting. He's in the twilight of his career. But like you mentioned, he scored goals at various levels. And if there's a side that's looking for a striker that can maybe provide that backup option, then you can do it, like again, similar to Rabiot or similar to the other players on this list. You can do a lot worse than Choupo-Moting, who I do think can still provide something for a football club. Maybe not as a starter week in, week out, but as a backup, he definitely can serve a purpose.
Is there a common theme with these players, you think, Kwaku? Do they sort of value themselves higher than clubs will? What do you think it is that means they haven't got the team?
There's various reasons for free agents being available at this point. A lot of them, it's either they're towards the back end of their 20s, or early 30s or mid 30s. So you very rarely get top free agents who are in their early 20s or mid 20s or in the prime of their career. Some of these players on this list have suffered for injuries. I'm looking at a player like Joel Matip, who was great for Liverpool, but suffered an ACL injury during the 23-24 season and just failed to get back to the place that he needed to get to, and Liverpool moved in another direction. So there's various reasons for why players are allowed to run their contracts down. Again, we've talked about Rabiot, we've talked about Anthony Martial, maybe a player like Memphis Depay, failed to really find a home. Obviously played for Manchester United, also played for Lyon and Barcelona in recent years, was let go by Atletico Madrid this summer. It's normally players that haven't really settled, normally on pretty high wages as well. So it's pretty difficult for any sides to match their wage demands. A player that I am really interested in, though, is Mats Hummels. I think he was very unlucky to not be selected for Germany at the Euros. He was linked with Brighton earlier on in the window. That didn't materialise. But we saw how good he was in the Champions League for Borussia Dortmund. They got all the way to the final. And I look at the effect that someone like a Thiago Silva had on Chelsea for those 3 or 4 years that he was at the football club. Of course, he was past his best, but he provided that experience. And a lot of the Chelsea defenders learned off of him. And he's a player that's won it all in the form of Matt Hummels, both at club level and international level. So I am surprised that nobody snapped him up, because I do think he can still provide a service for a decent club. He did it in the Champions League last year. And like I mentioned, I think he could have done a job for Germany at the Euros as well.
We've mentioned a few veterans. So finally, let's have a look at Brandon Williams, who got games at United a few years back.
Norwich, did he go on loan at Norwich?
And Ipswich. Spent some time there. He's been released by Manchester United, and you kind of feel like he's, what is he, 23, 24, something like that. Still plenty of time for him.
24 years old. The thing about Brandon Williams is, like you said, he's on loan at Ipswich last season. I just think he lacks that quality to play at a top-end club in the Premier League. He's got a lot of energy. He puts in the tackle. He fights for the shirt. And when he broke through Manchester United a couple of years ago, you thought that he'd maybe be a squad player or somebody who could contribute in terms of cup competitions or coming off the bench. Hasn't necessarily worked out for him over the last couple of seasons. And he finds himself without a club. And like I mentioned, there's so many players on this free agent list that was linked to Manchester United, played for Manchester United, or had previously had links with Manchester United. And Brandon Williams is a player that I think can possibly find a home in the Championship, but when it comes to top Premier League clubs, he might struggle, because at Ipswich he wasn't a guaranteed starter in the Championship last season.
Yeah. Well, Kwaku, good to talk to you as always. Thanks for joining us.
Take care, guys.
Kwaku Afari there, looking at some of the free agents that could still be snapped up by your... I mean, obviously the danger of it is anything happens to you if you're training to get fit or trying to keep fit, and you break down, or
you're without a club, aren't you?
God forbid you get an injury. You've got no cover. You're on your own, aren't you?
Yeah.
But anyway, we wish all those players well, because I'm sure a lot of them are looking to get back in the game. And you were telling me last week about, and I saw a piece about quite a lot of players playing in these PFA arranged matches. So Carl Jenkinson, the old Arsenal players involved, Ravel Morrison was, just to get eyes on them playing, so people don't forget that they're out there and looking for clubs.
And then they stay fit. They're around other players, aren't they? All those sorts of things. It's an interesting thing.
Carl Jenkinson popping in to drive on Thursday, and
very nice.
Telling you more about that. So make sure you tune in.
Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs, Monday to Friday afternoons 1 till 4 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.